Hello my boys and girls, today we're gonna have the Teardown review on my YouTube channel. Channel your inner darkness and for a second and genuinely answer this question. Who does not love causing some destruction? There is something in an action that gives a sense of power to the person causing it. It makes them feel satisfied with the aftermath, a sort of awe in what they have accomplished. It's a desire that is perfectly suited to be unleashed in a video game. One such game I adored due to that destructive feelings was the Nintendo 46 Blast Corps. This was an action puzzle game which had the player driving various vehicles and using them to demolish anything that was in the way of the runaway nuclear missile carrier. It captured the satisfaction of destroying an environment, but doing it so meaningful way as it blended action with puzzle to make it more than a cool feature. Blast Corps ended up being one of my favorite puzzle titles, which moves me on to Teardown. Teardown is a single-player game that has just come out of Steam Early Access, and one of this is promising detailed physics with a fully described environments integrated with the open-ending puzzle solving, so I had to see it offered. I was pleasantly surprised to see Teardown has a campaign mode along with the challenge and the sandbox. I found this fascinating because a lot of what I had seen for Teardown was from the sandbox mode, so I assumed it was a little that was all about the freedom to create your own environment and then destroy the hard work with a variety of tools and vehicles at disposal, which it does. But the campaign part works as a great introduction into the world of Teardown. The story, which is told through emails from the characters that offer context, has the player in the shoes of a nameless person who runs his own demolition business but is having issues with that. With the help of his mother, the player is given a new sim job to earn money, but the things go wrong when the police get involved in some of the illegal activities. So the player becomes entangled in this way of living as he is hired for insurance fraud and heist missions, turning the game into a puzzle game where the approach to these missions need to be planned on fly before performing, because as soon as those alarms trigger, then it's 60 seconds until the police comes for arrest. Teardown campaign begins with the easy tutorial, a simple job to smash a house with the equipment available on the player and around the environment. There is no urgency, no alarms or time limit, just a building that needs destroying. In the beginning, all the players has a sledgehammer to smash weak materials, such as glass and wood. A spray can you paint yellow marks for information. I often use the part to draw pathways so I know what road to keep one set almost alarm off. The last tool is the exciter, handy to put out the fire. A lot of levels have fire detection alarms, which when the fire becomes too much will trigger. Just like a standard alarms, this will bring the police after 60 seconds. These tools are not enough to bring the tutorial house down, but in each level are additional instruments, the vehicles, to help with the demolition. In the first level are Frontlander, a mini evacuator, a dump truck parked by close by. Using these along with the exploding canisters made short work of the house, with crumbled down and set tables after plugging through the last bits of walls with a front loader, leaving me with a satisfying grin as my destruction had come to competition, and I went on my merry was back the escape vehicle. Destruction is Teardown, is the feature that helps be what it is. So I was expecting the game to be similar all the way through, simply smashing buildings in various ways to accomplish the task. But I was so wrong. It hit me about 5 or so missions in which I had to steal a few cars and documents for clients. It seemed to me impossible to steal all 4 within 60 seconds time limit, as they were spaced too far apart from the gap of drive and hold back the getaway truck, and the realization was this way not simply a game about destruction, but one wanted the player to think of their own solution to achieve the result. This led me to scout around to see how I could get things connected to close the gap between the 2 cars and 2 documents and get out. I smashed through wooden huts with my sledgehammer for a faster escape from building rather than going back downstairs and the door after taking the documents. I drove a car and parked it near the new escape road to have the travel distances far. This was the first setup of the heist done, but I still had a document and 2 cars to steal. One of the cars was on a boat, so I simply took the boat and reserved it to the bridge to have it connected to this bridge so I can drive the car straight off and into the getaway truck. The other car was on the delivery truck, which the alarm was tried to. This means drive the truck to the getaway truck and putting down its ram so the car could be reserved off and into the getaway truck. All that was left was the first part of the heist, the first document, which again had me smashing a wall so I could fall through down into the docks and use the speedboat, which took me across the water to where the other document was, linking up my heist and getting me to 2 documents and driving the 2 cars into the truck and getting away with a few seconds on the clock. I felt so smart after accomplishing this. Missions only get more complex, to the point I felt some were way too hard without needing some additional tools, so I feel some of these side objectives require coming back to them later in the game once the additional tools and upgrades have been bought. The game lets the player be real creative with the solutions, helped by the playgrounds the developers have crafted for the campaign. One feature I absolutely adored, and it's vital for keeping frustrations low, was the ability to quick save within a level. I would often save just before stealing the objects that triggered the alarm, so I could reload on a failure. With so much planning that goes into this heist, the ability to reload just before triggering the alarm is godsend, as then you can go back to adjust the plane before attempting again. Things can get wild after the campaign. Some of the player's hands and even weather becomes the element of puzzles, as the mission has thunderstorms that set building on the fire and must be extinguished. Otherwise the alarm will be triggered if the fire is left to spread. Another involves save some energy drink kegs, but while you're taking those back to a truck, there is a tornado ripping around the town, shredding the things up. It looks quite cool, thanks to the atmosphere. The creators with the lightning can be voxels being sucked away from the buildings into the tornado shows you how amazing the destruction can be. Beating new environment in the campaign unlocks them to the challenge and the sandbox. I do think the game could have done with more environments, as they are often reused with the campaign mode, just with different objectives. There are 9 maps in total shared across 40 missions, which is repetitive in the starts when the game has the player returning to the same map a few times. The objectives do make the task itself different, so the solution is not the same in a previous mission, but I think the developers should have rejigged the layout, give the map a different feel, even they themselves were the same. I already explained a little about the sandbox, and as for challenge mode, this offers 3 different challenges types for each maps. Mayhem gives you all the tools and 60 seconds on the clock to destroy as much as possible. Fetch had a similar 60-second style limit, but it's about stealing as many items as possible. The last challenge is Haunted, similar to Fetch, but the time limit has gone, and in place of the R attacks helicopters can the player be hunt down for the chest. These are 4 divisions that give the extra something to do after the campaign. Teardown is an impressive game that surprised me with it was offering. It could be have for my own fault, not looking for into game before its release, but I was expecting a sandbox tool in the vein of the Garry's mode, and edition of the campaign give me the experience to solve these puzzles in my own way. Teardown is designed in such a way to let people create solutions as good as their imagination, which is rare for the puzzle games, because they are often set into the right-nosed rules. This design enables people to come up with the ridiculous solutions. The destructions in the physics engine is amazing, causing some fabulous scenes of the destruction, but is most just not for show, as it adds to the game experience in the character, and the freedom that comes along with fully described words lends itself to creativity that hands to the player. Teardown is Demolition fans' wet dream, a sandbox of a beautiful carnage that also happens to be a great puzzle game. Bye.